Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, my name is Nikki, and today I want to talk to you all about what I believe to be the top 5 beginner characters to learn in Killer Instinct. As usual, this is just my opinion on the matter, and this list may vary across the opinions of other top players in the scene, but this is my personal list. I believe all of these characters are perfect to learn the game with, their strategies and game plans are easy enough to execute with practice, and they all have their own unique individualities in their character archetypes. No two characters in Killer Instinct play the same way. The hardest inputs in this game consist of quarter circles, back forward, down up, and Z inputs, or DPs. As long as you have practiced these motions before, you can begin to play any of the characters in this game. The rest is just muscle memory and matchups. Don't let any of the characters' move lists intimidate you. With practice and time, you can play anyone, even Fulgore. So, let's get started. Now, I know the term Shoto is a bit of a hot topic lately, but if you happen to like characters with somewhat traditional fireballs, a dragon uppercut, and a low crush kick special move, then Jago is the beginner character for you. Jago has pretty average movement options. His jumps, walk speed, and dashes are all pretty standard. He has quick, advantageous light normals like his crouching light punch and his close light kick, which are great for tick throws, and he can also confirm off of his crouching light kick chain. He has some pretty decent medium buttons that have good range, and they can both be hit confirmed with a little bit of practice. His close medium kick is also a very fast normal coming out at 6 frames. It's great for setting up frame traps, tick throws, and it can even link into crouching light kick. His heavy normals are great for anti-airing, like his crouching heavy punch and his far heavy kick. His far heavy punch is a fantastic button in the mid-range, and it's also very easy to hit confirm with practice. He has an amazing overhead. His back heavy punch neck cutter is great for hit confirming, and his forward heavy kick is plus on block and very far reaching. He has decent jump ins, and his jump medium kick is a good cross up, but his jump heavy punch really stands out. He's got pretty decent throw range, and with meter he can even combo off of his throws and get a juggle. Jago's special moves aren't bad at all. His light wind kick is a low crush on frame 1, but it's also slightly unsafe on block. The medium and heavy versions travel way further, but they're also easier to punish on block. His shadow wind kick goes through projectiles, but it doesn't go full screen. It has pretty short range, so you have to have good reactions and know your spacing to use this effectively. His laser sword is fantastic. These can be used for advantage, flip outs, or juggles. His Endokukens have 3 different speeds. The light one is the slowest, the medium one travels at a medium speed, and the heavy one travels the fastest. He can dash cancel out of the charge animation of these fireballs, or charge it for a huge Endokuken that will eat most projectiles. His Tiger Fury is a true 3-frame reversal, and it is one of the hardest hitting DPs in the game. The Shadow version can be used to catch out juggles. He has a Launcher Ender which can start juggles that can end in a few different options. He can get a hard knockdown if he uses his crouching heavy kick, which is his sweep. He can flip out the opponent into a restand using his light laser sword, or even cash out damage with his Shadow DP. He has an insane battery ender that builds a lot of meter. He has a really good damage ender, and his wall splat ender is good too because it allows the opponent to be restood for mix-ups. His instinct has 3 different perks: extra hidden block advantage on all of his moves, double fireballs, and health regeneration off of his fireballs. If you like a jack of all trades character that can do it all, then Jago just might be for you.
I'm afraid your path ends here.
Saber Wolf is a rushdown character who excels very well up close with his extremely hard to challenge pressure and his tricky corpse dash mix-ups. He is this game's rendition of a rushdown character with a nasty strike throw game. Wolf has really good walk speed and a good backdash, but his forward dash is one of the scariest in the game. It's incredibly fast and he can pass through the opponent with it at any given time. His crouching light punch can chain into a target combo which is very hit confirmable, while his crouching light punch is one of the best tools for frame trapping and tick throws. His medium normals are somewhat stubby but have great speed. He can confirm his target combo off of crouching medium punch, and he can also apply really good pressure with his stand medium kick. His crouching heavy punch is one of the best sweeps in the game. It's very fast and has great range. His crouching heavy kick makes for a pretty good anti-air, and it can even start a juggle. His standing heavy kick is a little bit slow, but it staggers the opponent, making for easy hit confirms, and it also brings his hurt box backwards. His back heavy punch is one of the best command normals in the game. It's 8 frames and +2 on block, and it can be charged. When it's fully charged, it becomes unblockable. This is very strong, but be careful charging for too long. It is kind of a big commitment. Although he has no cross-ups in the air, he does have a forward medium kick dive kick, which helps him apply pressure and get in a little bit more easily. His Ragged Edge is a double hitting combo starter that is relatively safe on block. Be careful using this when the opponent has meter, as they can shadow counter it. The shadow version is plus on block and comes out in 4 frames. His run can lead into a low slide that goes underneath projectiles and is pretty unsafe on block. It also leads to a leaping slash overhead that can low crush but is also unsafe on block. And the last option is his running uppercut, which is safe on block but leads to a juggle combo instead. His shadow leaping slash goes through projectiles, hits overhead, recaptures airborne opponents, and is safe on block, but has stubby range. Eclipse is a reversal type move which can be used at the end of juggles for a soft knockdown. The light version is only 4 frames, which makes it one of the fastest meterless moves in the game. The shadow version can be used as a cash out or as a fully invincible reversal, and you can also juggle off of it. He has a launcher ender, which he can end in a hard knockdown using his sweep, or even a flip out with his crouching light kick. He can also even recapture you out of the air after the launcher ender with the shadow leaping slash. He also has a damage ender and a wall splat ender, which as you know is great for restanding the opponent, especially when he has that really tricky corpse dash. Makes for some scary mix-ups. Saber Wolf's instinct gives him 2 perks. First, he has additional chip damage added to all of his normals. This is very good against opponents who are very defensive and like to block a lot. The second perk that he gets in his instinct is the ability to feral cancel. Pressing heavy punch and heavy kick at the same time once you're in instinct allows you to cancel out of anything that you do. This can be used for extended block string pressure, and it also makes unsafe moves advantageous sometimes. And I know I've said in the past that Saber Wolf is definitely one of the lower tier characters in this game, but he can still definitely get some work done, especially against players who aren't at the highest level, so don't be discouraged from using him. Saber Wolf is definitely for you if you like imposing your will against your opponent with high pace mix-ups and pressuring them to death with frame traps, shimmies, and high lows. If you like characters with lots of long-range normals and huge damage, then Tusk is your man. Tusk is a character who excels in the mid-range, but can also be incredibly oppressive up close. It's very difficult to zone this character because of his great mobility options. He has pretty average movement speed and jumps and dashes, but his mobility is great because of his command dash. More on that later. His lights are great, his jabs are confirmable, his stand light kick is great for frame traps and ticks, and his crouching light kick is a good low starter. His medium and heavy punch normals have built-in parries called deflect windows on the startup frames of his moves. They have a ton of range, they can stagger, and they make for some really cool, easy combos. He gets a ton of damage off of these normals too. Take a look at this crouching heavy punch. Bam! His forward medium punch is a proximity normal that causes a cross-up that's unsafe on block up close, and a huge combo starter from further away that's slightly unsafe. His air normals are pretty good and versatile. He can cross up with jump medium kick very well, he can OTG off of his throw with jumping heavy punch, and his jump medium punch is an extremely far range poke that can confirm into a combo. Skull Splitter is a huge sword slam opener that is relatively safe on block and causes a stagger on hit, making it easy to confirm. The medium and heavy punch version have deflect windows. This move can also be used in the air, causing a flame projectile to come out as he hits the ground. The Shadow version on the ground is his most damaging Shadow Linker, and it's plus on block. His Immortal Spirit command dash is very good. It has upper body invulnerability, it can go through most projectiles, and it cancels into 3 different follow-ups. His light follow-up is a tackle that is safe on block, his medium follow-up is a slide that is unsafe but hits low, and his heavy is an overhead sword swing that hits rather slow, but is relatively safe. The Shadow version of this move is projectile invulnerable, and if he follows up with another kick after performing the Shadow move, it performs a 5-hitting tackle. Conqueror is his DP. The light one is fully invincible, and the medium and heavy punch versions have deflect frames. He can use a heavy punch follow-up to ground bounce the opponent after the DP and cause a juggle. Tusk has a stagger ender, which allows him to restand his opponent after cashing out for a strike throw mix-up. He also has a hard knockdown ender, as well as a damage ender, and Tusk does a lot of damage. Tusk's instinct is nuts. It allows him to special cancel any move into any other special move. Moves like his crouching heavy punch and his standing heavy punch can be made safe, and they can also be special cancelled now. These cancels will drain his instinct over time, so use them wisely. So, if you like owning a huge area of space with a big ass sword and dishing out huge damage, then Tusk is definitely the character for you.
Death comes to all, except me.
You love him, you hate him, you probably really hate him. He's the best character in the game. I've covered him before. It's Rash. If you like characters with huge mobility, incredibly good footsies, safe special moves, and massive damage, then Rash is probably the character for you. Like I said, this character is top tier. I personally think he's the best in the game, and I think he's got a lot going for him, especially if you're new to the game. I think he's a great character to learn the game with. He's got pretty standard walk speed, and his backdash is really good, but his run is insane and can be cancelled into anything. Also the mobility on Wicked Tongue and Wrecking Ball. Haha. His light punch is 5 frames and his light kick is 6 frames. These are the only light normals in the game that can be immediately cancelled into Ultra without a special move. That's crazy. His crouching light kick is a pretty good low starter, but it's also good because it frame traps, it's +2, and it's pretty good for tick throws, and throwing with Rash is really strong because he gets an insane amount of damage off of his throw. His medium punch normals are a little bit stubby, but his medium kick normals are really good in range, and they have really good hitboxes. His heavy punch is +2 on block, hits twice, and it can even link into his jab. His crouching heavy punch is a really good anti-air, which can also start a juggle, and Rash has some of the best juggles in the game. They're super hard to break, and they're really, really strong. Rash's standing heavy kick is arguably the best normal in the game, pound for pound. It has massive range and very little whip recovery. His sweep is also very good as well. His back heavy punch is an overhead that staggers, recaptures airborne opponents, and low crushes, and it's also relatively safe on block. His 3-punch move is Wicked Tongue. This goes in all 8 directions if you use it in the air. It eats projectiles, it flies you across the screen if you stick to the wall. This move is insane. It's really good for mix-ups too. You can jump over somebody's head and do downwards tongue, and it's like a 50-50 all the time. Also, pro tip, use heavy kick into a delayed down forward tongue. It's really good. His battering ram is a forward advancing special move. The light and medium versions are relatively safe on block, and the heavy version goes the furthest but is unsafe on block. The shadow version of battering ram goes through projectiles and is safe on block. Big Bad Boot is a move with a massive hitbox and is great for anti-airing as well as starting juggles. At 7 frames and -2 on block, Light Boot is one of the best special moves in the game, since it has a massive hitbox, low recovery, and is safe on block, and it can anti-air almost anything. The medium and heavy versions are slower and less safe, but they start juggle combos. Shadow Boot is fully invincible. Wrecking Ball can be used on the ground or in the air, and is very difficult to punish when spaced properly from further away. This move has armor, wall splats, and can be cancelled into an air normal on hit or whiff. The Shadow version cashes out and wall splats, and jails into a jump in on block. Rash has a side switch ender which gives him a hard knockdown. He also has the farthest reaching wall splat ender in the entire game. No, really, you can wall splat somebody from like mid-screen, it's pretty ridiculous. And he also has one of the best, if not the best, damage enders in the game. He builds PD so easily off his auto doubles. Rash's instinct is really good. It allows him to call a bike, which he can jump over or get on. He has to commit to one option or the other. The bike colliding with the opponent causes a stagger, as well as recapturing airborne opponents. This makes for some very hard to break combos and pretty safe pressure as well. I'd just like to point out that this is pretty much just a better version of Orchid's instinct. Imagine if she could recapture with the Fire Cats. Yeah. I really do think this is the best character in the game. He has absolutely everything, and he has an answer for absolutely everything. What does he not have? Your guess is as good as mine. He is the complete package and is surprisingly pretty easy to play. You don't need the fancy juggles or crazy tongue combos to be a successful Rash player. He's totally awesome. Don't kill me.
These cameos are killing me.
If you have a thing for dinosaurs, don't worry, Killer Instinct has you covered. Riptor is a phenomenal rushdown character with some of the best set play options in the game. If you love being aggressive, pressing a lot of buttons, and doing really easy combos, Riptor's for you. Riptor has really good walk speed, and her dashes are both runs, increasing her ground mobility greatly. She can cancel these runs into her shoulder charge, talon rake, shoot mortars when she's going backwards, or tail fling, which is a good reversal, and she can even do a tail slam stagger opener, which hits low. And of course, run up throw. I mean, that's the Riptor classic. Every Riptor you fight is going to do that to you at some point or another. Be ready for it. Riptor's jabs are chainable, and her light kick is great for up close pressure. It also flips out when the opponent is in the air. Her crouching light kick is also a good low starter. Her crouching medium punch is a pretty good low starter with decent range, and her medium kick is very plus on block and very plus on hit. It can even link into itself. Her heavy punch is a flame projectile that leads into a target combo that's pretty unsafe on block, but does good unbreakable opener damage. Her heavy kick is a proximity normal. The far version hits 3 times and is great for footsies. The close version hits twice and is really easy to confirm. Her sweep is also very good in neutral. She has pretty weak anti-airs, but her back heavy punch is probably her best meterless option. Her down back heavy punch is Flame Carpet. This is great for set play after a hard knockdown. Her 3-punch input shoots mortars into the air. She can shoot up to 3 at a time. These are projectiles that are not overheads, but they're really good for set play just like her Flame Carpet. Her 3-kick lowers her hurtbox into Predator stance, where she can follow up with shin bites that wall splats, an ankle bite move that's a low, an overhead flame smash with a ton of active frames, a can style toe tap kick that's plus on block, these tail stings that are overheads, and a sweep. Her shoulder charge automatically puts her into Predator stance on block, starts a combo on hit, and it's very advantageous. It's an oppressive tool, and the heavy and shadow version have armor on it. Her Talon Rake is a forward advancing low crushing special move that goes over projectiles. It's got some follow-ups on block like canceling into a tail flip or even a mortar, so there are a few different mind games that can be played with this move. The shadow version goes through projectiles. Like Jago's Shadow Wind Kick, it doesn't have great range, so use with caution. Riptor's tail flip is a risky overhead that can be used to cross up the opponent with the heavier versions. This move can also recapture, and can also even be used in the air. Shadow tail flip makes for a very good anti-air option and recaptures the opponent back to the ground. Clever Girl is a fast reversal. The Shadow version is fully invincible, being her only true wake up, and leads to a juggle. This move is very unsafe though. Riptor has a launcher ender, which she can end with a hard knockdown using her sweep. She can flip out the opponent using her standing light kick, or she can continue the juggle off of. She has a far-reaching wall splat, not as good as Rash, but still pretty good, and she also has a damage ender. Her tail flip ender is a hard knockdown. This is crucial for her set play. Her instinct gives her bigger hitboxes on her flame moves, as well as increasing the range on all of her tail moves, while also increasing her primal run speed. This instinct gives Riptor the ability to close the gap even more so than she could before, with her boosted mobility and increased range. Riptor and Saber Wolf are somewhat comparable up close in terms of their pressure, but on the knockdown they have totally different game plans, and Riptor's set play is incomparable. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you think there are other characters in the game that are worthy of learning if you're a beginner to Killer Instinct. Don't forget to sign up to patreon.com/ultratechuniversity. That's my private Discord server where I teach people how to play Killer Instinct with one-on-one lessons. We do weekly lobbies, we have monthly tournaments with prize pools, and it's a grand old time. If you're trying to learn how to play this game, whether you're brand new or you've been playing for a while or you have years of experience, head over to patreon.com/ultratechuniversity today. Thanks for watching, and stay ridiculous.
You don't